Well, boys and girls, it's the morning after all the chaos. We hauled the tractors home yesterday. I realize this is a Sherman backhoe. I probably should have known that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't read the tags down there. Actually, it even still has a spot for the triangle on the back. Figure that, but I can read them now. I don't know, it must be the light or maybe some algae blew off of it. I don't know. But anyhow, the Massey Harris here. This wheel was locked up, and I don't know how well I caught it on camera. We ended up pulling the keyway out of this wheel just so it would roll on the axle, get it up on the trailer, so that ended up working out. Keyway's still laying there, and actually here at the house when we unloaded it, it seemed like it broke free. The transmission is definitely full of water, so something I'm going to work on in the near future is pulling the drain plug out on that. But I know this motor is foobar, at least to some degree. I believe I showed this early on when I looked at these, but there's antifreeze in the oil pan. These are wet sleeve motors, so hopefully it's just the O-rings around the sleeves. Hopefully. What I want to do, and I haven't looked to see how hard it is or anything, it shouldn't be too bad looking down in there, is I want to drain the oil / antifreeze out and just take a look up in there, see where the antifreeze is coming from, and go from there. If it's got a cracked head or something, maybe I fix it. If the block itself is cracked, probably won't fix it. I could be wrong, but even if that happens, my buddy Alex there that helped seems to have a very distinct liking for this tractor. I have nothing for or against a Massey, so that is always an option that I could go down the road to somebody else. Now, even the tires and rims on this thing, while they look decent, they got a lot of bad spots in them. I don't know if you guys see, like the rim is rusted through there and stuff where it's set for years. So then we move on to this thing. You guys are like, Steve, why'd you buy a pipe frame loader? I actually didn't buy these. These were left over from my buddy's estate, and nobody wanted them. They weren't worth money to go and get. I didn't even think they're worth enough money to scrap, hardly, but I don't know. You guys know I have a hard time giving up on stuff, so on this one, steering works, everything in the front rolls. The rears did roll. If you guys go back in the other video I did of when I started moving these around down there, but the guy, the property owner down there, had messed around with this and rolled it, and I think when we were trying to force it back out of gear down there, I really think the shift lever hopped up out of the forks, and it's still stuck in that gear yet, because both rear wheels will not roll, and they both rolled before. Now granted, looking at the tires, maybe not amazing, but they did roll. So other than that, I mean, as you guys have seen the other videos, there is so much, we'll call them farmer fix welds on this, and stuff that's beat in, because this grill guard, near as I can tell, should be out about here. It's been pushed in. If it has an emblem on it, it's been smashed. And I have a half of notion to cut the booger welds off the front of this and just see what the emblem is on it, so I know what I'm working with. Excuse me, without working too hard. We did find the hood for it down there. It was laying down in like the piping for the loader, so that's a plus. I'll have to look for that. Also, originally, I think, I could be wrong, but looking at the bucket, originally this had twin cylinders on it. Oh, actually you can see the mounts there have been torched off. Oh, maybe this was originally a manure bucket. I'm gonna have to look into this stuff a little bit more. Or not a manure bucket, a trip bucket, I'm sorry. But it is a manure bucket, it's a smaller bucket. So, any hoozle. The exhaust is rusted, the oil looks good in this. While the radiator fluid, while the antifreeze is not full, it is damp in there, like there's some in it. Yeah, other than that, I think I may attempt to pull the top cover off of these, and somebody also nipped a hole down in there to, I don't know, see what was going on or mess with the starter bendix. All the rubber pieces are pretty much rotted off of this, or missing. Actually, I think the whole air filter setup's gone, because it should be, the air filter setup would have been right here. Would have sucked air in from there, I believe. So yeah, rough, but price was right. They're free. Even if I don't get the backhoe working and put back on this thing, it still has the rear PTO and the 3-point. So I can always cut these brackets off here and put the 3-point back on it. Or I hate to notch them, because as soon as you notch them, they end up weaker. So it's weird they couldn't have designed it so it was a little bit wider so the 3-point would clear it. But you know, what are you gonna do? So anyhows, I think I'm gonna start pulling spark plugs out of these. I'm going to put ATF in them. I also want to spin the tractors around, and before I do that, I want to put the ATF in them, because while I'm rolling them and rocking them around here, spinning them may or may not help jar these motors loose. Yeah, and that's pretty much going to be it on these for right now. I know I've rambled on for 8 or 10 minutes, but you guys, I wish you guys could feel it in the air, but fall is upon us. It's mid-September. The leaves are changing. I don't know if you guys can see the couple in that maple or not. And the 3910 needs to go on firewood duty along with the Yanmar. I'm already kind of started. And yeah, guys, that's, like I said, for right now, once I get something moving here today, I'm not going to play with these more. The Indiana Mall show, the fall show, is coming up this week. We haul tractors in Thursday. It is Monday. I haven't done anything to get ready for it. And I have a parade Saturday. We need to pull tractors out of the mall Saturday night. So, with all that being said, guys, I gotta get busy. I really don't know how I did this before when I had a full-time job, because I'm not working right now. I don't know how I do it now. I'm running out of time. So, alright, I'm gonna get my ass in gear here and get some stuff moving. And I have a picture that I want to take, and you guys will figure that out later. And we'll catch everybody on the next one. Later. 3-point stuff's missing. I forgot about the Massey. Needs a special top link to run a powered anything off the 3-point. So I'll have to find one of those. I wonder if the drive shaft needs to be special. I'm unsure on that. Maybe the Massey guys will show up in the comments. Maybe. I won't hold my breath, but if you guys are watching, thank you. And we'll see everybody on the next one. Later. Kind of an odd feeling when none of the motors turn over and you see no hope. Well, boys and girls, hopefully the camera will focus. There we go. But I just pulled, this is number 4, 3, 2, 1. Assuming that's the way Massey labels their cylinders. But anyhow, number 4 here is totally packed with crud and stuff. So it tells me there's stuff in that cylinder. The valve's probably open. Number 3 also has a bunch of rust and crud in it. Number 2, very similar. Number 1, excuse me, is the only one that looks different. And it looks like it's the one that's showing signs of antifreeze to me. So I am still going to put some ATF in here, because if these sleeves are not totally garbage, I'm a stingy person. try and reuse them. Obviously I have no idea what they look like at this point. I don't have a bore scope, my buddy does. But yeah, like I said, that's all I'm going to do today. Put some ATF in it, put the spark plugs back in it, and get a can or something put over the exhaust, just to keep any more water from getting into it. And drain the rear end in this, get all the water out perhaps. I may not even do that today. I was going to say maybe this weekend, but that's probably a big negative on that too, Ghost Rider. So, alright, do that, and I'm going to go over and talk to Mr. Ford here and see what he tells me. So, looking at the spark plugs in this thing, I don't see anything terribly scary. The only thing I see is a lot of carbon in these back two cylinders. And the front two, while they were running rich, don't look terrible. And them spark plugs are in there just a smidge over hand tight. Although I'm not 100% sure those are the correct spark plugs, so I don't know. I'll put some ATF down in there and monkey with it a little bit. Yeah. Fan belt's slipping. So, see what we can do. Considering this transmission's locked up, I could put a pipe wrench on a PTO shaft. Other thing I just noticed, probably when they put the loader and stuff on, somebody just torch cut the hydraulics off of this, the lever. You guys see down in there? There you go. So, yeah, I think that would be a fairly easy fix, unless it's aluminum, which it kind of looks like it. But I'm sure I could buy that. Great. Grand. Oh, I just noticed that. A popcorn looking weld in the transmission. Ah. Interesting, Mr. Bond. Interesting. This is broke here too? No, it's just a step. Okay. Any hoozles. ATF. Let her soak for a while. See if we can get a bar in somewhere on the crank bolt. Probably not too easy. So, anywho's, let me do that. So boys and girls, I got the shifter off. I'm going to assume whatever this upper rail is, looks like it is probably in gear. And it is jammed. Oh, moved. Come on. Come on. This is why I didn't tear it apart down there. I may have to actually... It's probably bound up, is what it is at the moment. Come on. So, I gotta edit that up. Yep, it's jammed. Alright. Let me pick the back end of this thing up and try and rock it a little bit. Alright, let me grab a floor jack. Alright, I got her now. Just in a bad bind there. Because the clutch, near as I can tell, doesn't work. Looks like it's jammed up down here on this pivot. Or the shaft isn't sliding in the housing, one of the two. I'll get some blaster and start squirting on it. I guess I got high hopes that'll get this thing running, but at least it should roll easier now. So now I know what to do and what not to do. So, got that out. Put her back in. At least enough to keep some of the water out of the transmission, which the oil looks good in there. And this tube over here has a leak to it and the rim's split. This is an original rim, looking at it. This one over here is a replacement. Not that it matters to you guys, but food for thought. So, alright. So I get this put back together, get the spark plugs put back in it. Then we'll get these spun around, and I will go from there. Well, boys, I don't know if the camera will focus, but with water dripping out of that rear axle seal over there, or figured I'd come up here and take this drain plug out. Well, that's water there too. That's a lot of water. So I think I'm just gonna let this sit here and drip, and if there's any oil in there, it should stay in there, right? Right. So here's my other malfunction. I would like to get the drain plug out of this, but I cannot at the second. I can't get a good bite with a pipe wrench. My square-headed plugs, or my 8-point sockets, aren't quite big enough for the plug. So, anywho's, figured I'd show you guys that. You guys see anything up in there that makes you happy? I don't see anything yet. I also was looking at the PTO shaft, and I realized somebody has been trying to unstick this motor long before I come along. There's some old pipe wrench marks on the rear PTO, which I've been trying to figure out how to engage, actually. I would think it'd be through this clutch, but there's got to be a little lever somewhere through the PTO, and oh, I wonder if that's the little thing up here on the side of the transmission. I think there's something up there on the transmission. I don't know. Maybe it's the other tractor. Who knows? They're starting to run together. So, anyhow, you guys know what I'm up to. Draining water. Alright, boys, I finally got the plug loose. Letting the old water drain. Especially if I do it slowly, the water's not going to go anywhere. And it is that, just water. So, I ended up hammering a 15mm 12-point on there. And it broke loose relatively easy with a hammer. Tapping on the old rotchot, which you're not supposed to do, but you know, if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. So I guess I'm gonna let this go for a while. We're gonna go in and eat dinner and see if we make any progress. Well, I know we're making progress. Like I said, I just want to get all the water out of this thing before winter. It hasn't frozen busted yet, so I'd much rather keep it that way. I checked the Ford, it's good. I mean, for all I know, maybe the block's cracked inside, I don't know, but transmission appears good. Hydraulics, I have not a clue. And yeah, you guys see what I'm up to. So, anywho's, oh, you guys weren't even looking at it. So, anywho's, next clip, maybe I'll actually get something done. I don't know. Until these motors unstick, I can't do much with them. I mean, I got the hydraulics, the valves working on that backhoe. I could try it. I have a half notion to plug that pump and put it either on the 9N wouldn't be bad, but the clutch on the 9N could be funny. I really don't want to tear the Super H up if something goes wrong. I wonder if the Farmall Cub would run it. The 3910 would never shut off if something locked up. It would just blow it apart. I could put it on the Yanmar, but I don't want to bust that transmission, so I don't know, guys. Anyhow, like I said, down here draining water, thinking about life. I'm trying to figure out why the Wi-Fi works better back here than it does in the barn. Could figure that out. Damn roofs and umbrella hats, I don't know. So anywho, I'm going to shut up and talk for 2 minutes. Later, guys. Oh, got her cracked loose. Definitely a lot of water, and I know there was water up to the bottom of the axles, because it was running out the axles. Actually, it's still running out the axles. So, yeah, there is I don't really want to take it out the whole way out. At least at the moment, so we'll just let her go. We'll let her go like that. Going in to eat dinner, so anyhow. Be back with you guys later. Steve's reenactment, part 1. Steve wins! I can't believe it worked. Unstuck the motor with the backhoe. That is awesome, guys. You guys know what that means. The next thing, hopefully, will be some kind of smoke show. Hopefully that's not fire. Out of the muffler, exhaust would be better. So guys, it is about dusk here on the day after picking these up. Oh. Is it not going to roll now that I got the camera out? There we go. But, it does sound like it's turning. It's too dark, I can't quite see the fan. I don't know if you guys can. Definitely got a tight spot, but... Yep, I hear the fan hitting on something. So, we got the motor unstuck. The trans turns to the PTO shaft. I guess that means we need to put a battery in her. And then, worry about getting sparkles. Don't worry about compression. I was about ready to start using these here tools, pry bars and stuff. Take the starter out. Conveniently, somebody torched a hole in there to see what's going on. So I did that. But, yeah. I'm rather tickled pink and speechless right now. So we're making progress here on the Ford. I did have some ATF in it, but it was only in it since this morning. I figured I'd try it one last time, throw the old Hail Mary play, and see what happens. At first I figured I twisted the PTO shaft off. Possible, but it would appear we have had success, boys. So, with that being said, I'm going to quit on today with a high note. Pick up all my tools before it gets dark, before I get ate by Bigfoot or something over here in the woods. And catch everybody in the next ones. Later.